All right, Khan. Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the Torah tribes of Yahawah, giving the course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi'S. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahawah, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahawah. This is Brother Yahawah coming back, y'all, with yet another video through the spirit power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. All right, Shabbat Shalom to all that's observing it this Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown, a hearty Shabbat Shalom. And if not, still, a hearty Shalom and much love. All praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. All right. And so, this is basically going into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah's army of angels. All right. Because we have to understand that the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, the God of the Bible, is a man of war. All right. He's a man of war. Okay. A lot of people think that the God of the Bible, he's all about love and hugs and kisses and flowers and chocolates, right? And loving everybody. No, that's not that's not scriptural. That's not how the God of the Bible works, right? He's not just this one thing, right? The Most High is very complex, right? And he exhibits certain emotions, right? We see this in the scriptures. He exhibits certain emotions, like anger, right? The Lord, therefore you have kindled a fire in mine anger, as the Lord said in Jeremiah 17, right? And verses 4, right? The Lord exhibits certain emotions, and he has an army in which he can enforce those emotions, right? Physically. You'll feel the wrath of the Most High, and he will use his angels as a way to appease his anger, right? Now he can do it, a multiplicity of ways, but the Lord, he has an army in his heaven, all right? So let's go through the precepts. All right, let's go first. I want to pull this precept. It's a cool precept. Right, let's go to Proverbs 17 and 11. All right, Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 11. It says what? It says what? An evil man seeketh only rebellion. So evil man is only going to seek rebellion, right? He's not going to seek after the Most High. He's not going to seek after what's right. He's going to seek after rebellion. Rebellion is literally sin, right? Rebellion is sinning against the Most High, right? We know what a rebel is, right? You have rebels against, a certain government, right? They're trying to overthrow the government. When we think of rebels, that's mainly, what we think of, or at least me, right? I think, of a person that's trying to, rebel against authority, right? Rebel against a government or something like that, right? Well, guess what? A rebel, or Slakia, let's read it again, right? It says, Proverbs 17:11, an evil man seeketh only rebellion. So in this case, this rebellion will be against the Most High, right? Will be against the Most High's authority and his laws and regulations and statutes and judgments, right? And an evil man is going to rebel against the Most High, right? Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. A cruel messenger, right? Now, a messenger, in other words, will be an angel, right? And vice versa. Angel literally means messenger, right? That's what an angel means, right? That's what an angel means, right? Slaki, let's pull this up. Right? Yeah, so let's pull this up real quick. So the word angel in the Greek, especially, right? In the Greek, it says what? The word angel derives from the Greek angelikos, right? Angelios, meaning messenger. So that's what it means, right? An angel literally means messenger, right? When we take it from the Greek. When we look at the Hebrew, it's a little different, right? When you look at the Hebrew, it's a little different. It's and also I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, there's multiple ways in the Hebrew to say angel, right? Or multiple words in Hebrew can be translated to messenger. But the point I want to touch on is that, especially when we look at the Greek, the Greek word for angel would translate to, in English, messenger, right? Because And that makes sense. Angels are the Most High's messengers, right? Now it says in the book of Proverbs 17:11, it says that an evil messenger shall be sent against them, right? Or it's like a cruel messenger. This cruel messenger is an angel sent by the Most High to do his will, right? But to do his so-called dirty work, right? That's the cruel messengers, the cruel angels. Remember, you have angels on the right hand side, and you also have angels on the left hand side, right? Not all angels. Stop thinking that the word angel is just all good, right? Oh, she's an angel. Oh, he's angelic, right? And they see angel is a this word has a very positive connotation, right? But guess what? In the scriptures, you don't angel is not just a doesn't just have a positive connotation, because there's evil angels and there's good angels, right? And by evil, I mean angels that deal with malice and iniquity and sin and stuff like that, right? And evil, right? They do the evil that's upon the earth, but they still, nevertheless, they still work for the Most High, though, right? You have angels on the right hand side of the Most High, which do the righteous work, right? Given men and women the knowledge, understanding, right? They have certain jobs to do that deal with that only strictly deal with righteousness, right? Let's keep reading though. Proverbs 17 and verse 11. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him, right? So the Lord will send a cruel messenger against you, right? The Lord will send a cruel messenger against you, and it's not gonna be good. But it's like it. Let me just check this real quick, right? See, my internet's good, right? All right, Con. So Con. All right, so let's go to the book of Psalms, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 35, and verse 4. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul, and let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Now, this is David talking. If David was just this soft and nice man, and just, all about nice and being kind, right, and being effeminate, David is saying, let them be confounded. And remember, this is a prayer. David is praying for the death and destruction of his enemies. And was David all for that? No, the Lord never got on David for praying that to him, right? The Lord heard David's prayers, right? We can go to that in the book of Psalm chapter 32, right? Psalm chapter 32 and verse 5. I acknowledge my sin unto thee. This sin is going into his sin when he committed adultery, right? With Uriah the Hittite's wife, right? But it says, I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity have I not hid. Meaning, he confessed the sin unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto Yahawah, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sins. Allah. The Lord forgave David the iniquity of his sin, right? So let's go back to Psalms 35 and 4. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. He said, let the angel of the Lord chase them, right? Chase them. What is the angel going to, what is the angel going to, of the Lord going to do? Is he just chasing them, playing tag? Are they playing tag, right? That's why the Lord is sending this angel, or that's why this angel is chasing this man that wants to hurt David. They're just playing around, or are they racing, right? Are they in a race? A 400-meter dash, 500, or are they running 500, 600s? That's not what that is talking about, right? When it says, and let the angel of the Lord chase them, meaning chase them down and hunt them down and destroy them, right? Let the angel of the Lord destroy them, right? Let their way be darkness. It's like, let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. It says, let the angel of the Lord persecute them. You see that? For without cause, which they have hid for me, slug, for me their net in the pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Right. So that's it on that. All right. So the angels can actually persecute people, man. Right. They're not some just these nice guys. Right. They're not just some nice, effeminate dudes. Right. They can actually hunt you down and chase you. Right. And destroy you. All right. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 35, or Psalm 34 and verse 7. It says, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So the angel of the Lord, now mind you, this word that's used here is encampeth, right? Encamps. Meaning what? Basically, this is this word encamp, right? Let's just look it up, right? Okay, so let's look this up. I'm gonna share my screen. Right, this word encampeth. Okay, encamp, right? Settle in or establish a camp, especially a military one, right? Especially a military one. So a military camp. That's how the angels encamp around those that fear the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, right? They literally set up a camp, or basically they're around them. That's where you get the concept of guardian angels from, right? Guardian angel. You know what I'm saying? People talk about their guardian angel, right? You don't really have a guardian angel if you're not keeping the commandments to the best of your ability, and if you're not keeping the faith in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, you're not going to have a guardian angel, so called, right? But these guardian angels are actually real, and they do encamp around those that fear Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, right? But this word, the word encampeth, it has a connotation, or basically its meaning is to set up a camp, especially a military one. Shows you, showing you that what these angels, they're militant, right? Seeing that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, the Lord, the Father, is a God of war. Right. Let's go to the book of Exodus 15 and 3. Right, it's a classic. Exodus 15 and 3. It says what? The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name, right? Yahawah is his name. So the Lord is his name. The Lord is a man of war. All right. The Lord is a man of war. So what does that mean? Meaning that what? He's going to have an army, right? He delights in war, right? And the Lord does have an army. That's why you read in the book of let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 9. All right. So let's go to Romans 9 and let's see what verse I want. Right. The Lord the Lord is a man of war. Right. Romans chapter 9 and verse number 28. Right. It says, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we have been at Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah. Right? So Paul is quoting Isaiah, right? Paul is quoting Isaiah. And fun fact, I believe Isaiah is the most referenced, by Paul, right? If I'm not mistaken, especially in this chapter. But what he's quoting Isaiah, right? So let's read that in Isaiah chapter 1. Let's see what he's quoting, right? Because he's quoting the precepts. Remember, that's why, Salak, real quick, let's go to the book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, right? Romans 15 and 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime. And what does Paul make a reference to? He's making reference to the Old Testament. Those are the things that's written aforetime, right? For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, right? So he's basically saying that, look, it's profitable for you to be reading the Old Testament. So it doesn't make any sense, right, for these Christians to be really just studying the New Testament all the time and not studying the Old, right? You can't study the New Testament before you, you can't study and try to understand the New Testament without properly getting the understanding of the Old Testament first, right? It wouldn't make any sense. That's why these Christians stumble upon Paul's letters and they don't understand it because they don't have a basic understanding of the Old Testament, right? It says, we're written for our learning that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right? That's why when we go to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 19, it says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. What does the day dawn symbolize? It symbolizes the kingdom of heaven being established on earth, right? That's the day dawn. That's when the knowledge and wisdom and understanding will be at its brightest, right? That's why when you read in Revelation chapter 22, right, it will tell you that we don't need the sun anymore, right? We don't need the sun or the moon, for the Lord is going to be our light, right? Roughly paraphrased. What does that mean? We're literally going to have the sun and the moon. We're still going to have the sun and the moon, right? But what that symbolically and metaphorically going into is what the Lord being our light, right? The Lord's because our light that we have right now is likened onto the sun and the moon. That's a complete different breakdown, but just to put it out there, right? Just to put it out there. I don't want to get too deep into it, but the wisdom and knowledge understanding that we have right now is likened onto the sun and the moon, right? But that's just a little bit, because we still look through a glass darkly right now. We only have a little bit of that light of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. When the kingdom of heaven is established, the day is going to dawn, right? Meaning the sun is going to rise fully if you have ears to hear it. We're going to have that full and complete understanding, the hidden manna, et cetera, right? Let's keep going. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 20. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation, right? It's lucky. Actually, I wanted 2 Peter. Second Timothy, Slocky, right? I get those mixed up. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High. What scripture is he talking about? He's talking about the Old Testament, right? All the Old Testament was given by inspiration of the Most High, and it's profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. So, Paul, whom a lot of Christians look up to, right? A lot of Christians they look up to and sometimes even worship and they put Paul. A lot of times they put Paul before even Christ, right? Which is off. But even Paul said that, look, you got to look into the Old Testament. You got to study it, right? Because it's profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, etc. Right? But yeah, let's keep going though. All right, let's go back to Isaiah, because so going back on topic, we read in Romans chapter 9 when the Lord, or it's like when Paul is quoting Isaiah, right? So let's go to that precept that he's quoting in Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9 right? I'm gonna start at verse 8. I'm gonna start at verse 7 to get the context, right? Isaiah 1 and 7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burnt with fire. What country? This country is talking about the land of Israel, right? The land of Israel during this time. Remember, we have to understand. Contextualization, right? So basically, what's going on in Isaiah, especially this first chapter, Isaiah was an author, or basically a prophet during the time of what? Basically, the Babylonian period, or basically when the Babylonian period really started to come into fruition, right? Really started to, really gain its power, right? I would say, I'll put it like that, right? And so, of course, during this time, Israel was getting ransacked by, many nations actually, right? But primarily by Babylon, all right? And so the land of Israel lay desolate, right? And also, of course, Northern Kingdom also around this time was getting destroyed by the Assyrians, all right? You can read about that in Isaiah chapter 10, and as well as First Kings, I believe, and Second Kings, all right? Let's go back to that. Isaiah 1:7. Your country is desolate, your cities are burnt with fire. So your cities are burnt with fire. Our cities were burnt with fire, right? Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. And it is desolate as overthrown by strangers, right? These strangers are actual heathen. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, and as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. So the Lord was destroying a lot of his people, right? The Lord was destroying a lot of his people, but he left a very small remnant. A very small remnant, meaning a very small amount that's left behind that the Lord spared, did not kill, right? Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us as a very small remnant, we shall have been as Sodom, and we shall have been as Gomorrah, right? But the point I want to touch on and highlight is when it says, except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, right? Let me just share my screen so we can get like a better view of it, right? Let's pull up Isaiah 1 and 9, right? Pull up Isaiah 1 and 9. Let's pull Romans 9, the precept that we just were reading, right? So let's get this. So as you see right here in Romans 9 and 29, it says, and as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth. It says Sabaoth right here. And when we look in Isaiah chapter 1, because he's quoting Isaiah, right? Let's go to that Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. So it says host right here, right? But it says Sabaoth right here. Now, what the heck is Sabaoth? It kind of looks like Sabbath, right? We also see this word in James, right? Let's go to it in James, right? We see this word Sabaoth in James. I'm gonna share my screen again, but let's read this precept in James real quick. Let's see what this word means. All right, let's go to the book of James chapter 1, or James chapter 5. James chapter 1, James chapter 5 and verse 4. Behold, the hire the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the city, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, right? So James is saying that the cries of the afflicted, the cries of the poor are being heard by the Lord of Sabaoth. What is Sabaoth? Sabaoth may look like the word, it looks like the word Sabbath, but it's not the Lord of Sabbath, right? It's not what it's saying. Sabaoth, right? Let's just look in the Greek. Okay, let's look into the Greek of the word Sabaoth. Basically, Sabaoth just means hosts, right? Army. That's why in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 7, it says the Lord of hosts. And in Romans chapter 9, in verse 29, it says the Lord of Sabaoth. Sabaoth just means host, right? Army. Okay. The Lord of Sabaoth, Lord of the armies of Israel, as those who are under the leadership and protection of Yahawah maintain his cause in war. So it says the Lord of the armies of Israel. You see that? The Lord of the armies of Israel. All right. And you have the angelic armies of Israel as well. Right? Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 12. All right. Let's go to Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. You see that? So Michael is going to stand up during this time, right? When he's going to fight against Satan and his, or Slakia. Well, Satan, when I say Satan, I don't mean the spiritual demon Satan. I mean Esau, right? Esau and his armies, right? And literally they're going to have a war in heaven. That's Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 on down. You know what I'm saying? But it says what? which standeth for the children of thy people. Thy people meaning who? Who's Daniel's people, right? Daniel's people are the Israelites. So he's going to stand up, Michael, because Michael the archangel is basically a captain, right, of the hosts of the Lord, right, of the army of the Lord. He's over them, right? He's basically, you know, like a so-called general, so-called captain, right, over the armies. Okay, so you have this, you know, you have the angelic armies of Israel as well, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of Sabaoth, right? So come, all right. I'm gonna just finish the verse. It says, "And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." Right? And that's going into all hell breaking loose, and the Lord delivering those that's written in the book of life. Right? So come. But yeah, so, and you'll see that concept a lot, right? The Lord of hosts. You know what I'm saying? The Lord God of hosts, meaning the Lord of armies. You know what I'm saying? Reminding his people that, look, hey, I get down with war, right? That's why, you know, we have so many wars, right, in this world. The Lord actually gets down. He deals with wars because he is a man of war, right? He is the God of war, right? Not Kronos. Kronos is not the God of war. The real God of war is Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah, right? And Esau is going to try to fight against his army, right? Esau is going to try to fight against the army of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. That's the war in heaven, right? The war in heaven is not talking about war in heaven is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan fighting against Michael, right? And against Yahawah. That's not what that's talking about. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven, right? Meaning Esau is going to be cast down, right? Esau is literally in heaven right now, right? Heaven means in this high estate, right? In his kingdom. This is Esau's kingdom right here, right? But he's gonna be put down, all right? He's gonna be put down, all right? Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, because the Lord is literally gonna, you know, for the lack of better terms, he's gonna pull up on Esau, all right? He's gonna pull up on Esau, and he's gonna destroy. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, and verse 16. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up, cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. He will invade them with his troops. That's what the Lord is going to do, right? The Lord is going to invade this nation. He's going to invade this nation. He's going to invade Esau, right, with his tech and his armies, right? That's how the Lord is going to do, because he's a man of war. Okay, and he's going to do it with his angels. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, because the Lord is not just going to come by himself. All right, it's not just going to come by himself. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed the dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. What are the thousands of heaven? Right? When you look at the footnote in the 1611, it'll tell you that these are clouds, the thousands of heaven, right? So we know that the clouds, when we go to the book of Psalm, chapter 104 and verse 3, it says, who maketh the clouds his chariot, right? Who maketh the clouds his chariot? Meaning that when we read clouds in the scriptures, all the time, or sometimes it's not talking about actual clouds. It's talking about the Most High's chariots, right? His chariots. Now the breakdown in the chariots, that's another breakdown, but basically the chariots of the Most High in simple terms, right, are what we see as these so-called UFOs, unidentified flying objects that's going around, right, in the shape of a saucer. You can read about the wheel in a wheel in Ezekiel chapter 1. That's how Ezekiel described the chariots, because Ezekiel saw the chariots, right? Ezekiel saw the chariots, and he was so amazed by it that he sat astonished for 7 days, right? He sat astonished for 7 days. And that's what happened, okay? Right? Let me see if I can try to find that precept, right? Let me see if I can try to find that precept. But, he sat down astonished there for 7 days, right? Okay, God. Well, that's all right. That's all right. But let's keep going to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. 2nd Ezra 13 verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. So he was with the thousands of heaven. He was with thousands and thousands and thousands of chariots, man. That's how Yahawah is going to come, right? Because Yahawah Bahasham Yahawah, he's a Lord of hosts. He has a huge army with him, all right? And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him, all right? So come. Yeah, you can read that on your own too. Now let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 5. Right? Revelation chapter 5. All right, let me see. Revelation chapter 5 and verse 11. It says, and I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. You see that? So that's how many angels there are in heaven, innumerable amounts. And so that's how many are coming with Yahawah, right? That's how many are coming with thousands and thousands of angels, right? To what? To judge and to make war, like it says. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 11. Or Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war, right? So John saw heaven open, right? And a white horse. This white horse is not literal, right? It's symbolic. This white horse is symbolic, right? For what? Righteousness, purity, right? Because that's Yahawah, that's what he stands for. Righteousness, purity, justice. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 8. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Does that mean literally you have to have every one of your garments white all the time? You can never have any like black garments, red. No, that's not what that's talking about. Letting your garments be always white. Your garment is your spirit, and letting it be white, it means to have it pure, have it spotless, without spot, without blemish, without sin. You know what I'm saying? Without malice, iniquity, right? That's what that means. Let's go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 19. That's why it's a white horse. That's why it's not a, black horse. That's why it's not a, purple horse, pink horse. It's a white horse, which stands for righteousness. That's why Esau calls himself white, as he understands that the white in the scriptures stands for what? Purity. You know what I'm saying? Like it says, in the book of Song of Song, my beloved is white and ruddy. You know what I'm saying? Meaning what? Pure, holy, clean, spotless. All right, let's get another precept. Revelation 19:8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the white linen is the righteousness of the saints. So the fine linen is the fine linen is clean and it's white. Why? Because that symbolizes righteousness. Okay, that white. Let's jump down. Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. In righteousness he's going to judge and make war. And he's not going to do it by himself. He's going to use the army that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashah has for him up in the heavens. Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written which no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. That lets you know that that's talking about Yahawah, because he's the Word of the Most High. We read about that in John chapter 1 and verse 14. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Right? What does that make in reference to? Making reference to Yahawah. All right. Verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven. So that there's armies in heaven. You thought there was little white babies. No, sadly mistaken. There are armies in heaven. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Okay? So there was armies that followed Yahawah from the heavens. All right? That's what every eye is going to see that. The armies of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawah. Okay, because these nations, they're showing off their armies right now. You know what I'm saying? They're showing off their men, the infantry. You understand? The helicopters and the jeeps, the nukes. The Most High is going to show off his army, which is supreme above all armies of the world. All right. So Khan. And I didn't want to make this too long, but that just a few precepts going into the Lord's army. Okay, so with that, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashah. Lord willing, this was edifying. Right Shabbat Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Shalom.